Week 14 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few defense DST units I have as sleepers this week. The first one, the Washington Commanders. So this Commander defense, a 1 week streaming option. Good matchup at the Vikings, where if it's McCarthy back in the lineup or Rosmer, it just doesn't matter to me. Both those quarterbacks, they can't play well. They're turnover machines. We've seen, especially McCarthy and Rosmer last week, in the one start he's had in his NFL careers. In Washington, I thought last week, even though they lost the game, they fought to the very end and made it tough for Bo Nix and that offense at Denver for the majority of the game. So the last few weeks for Washington, Week 9 versus Seattle, got the doors blown off, 38 points allowed an interception. Week 10 versus the Lions, again, they got blown out, 44 points allowed a block kick. Week 11 versus Miami overseas, 16 points allowed, 3 sacks in that one. In Week 13 versus Denver, I know they gave up the 27 points, a sack and an interception, but they made them earn it in that ball game. So this week with a great matchup at the Vikings, when McCarthy back in the lineup, it's looking like I still think they'll get pressure on them. I think they'll create turnovers, and the Vikings do give up the second most fantasy points to DSTs on the season. Next DST, the Tennessee Titans. So this week a good matchup is a 1 week streaming option at the Cleveland Browns, available in 75% of fantasy leagues. In the last couple weeks for this defense, Week 9 versus the Chargers, 27 points allowed, 6 sacks, pick 6 in that one, and a return touchdown. Week 11 versus Houston, 16 points allowed, 4 sacks. Week 12 versus Seattle, 30 points allowed, a sack, a return touchdown. Week 13 versus Jaguars, 25 points allowed and 3 sacks. So this week, 1 week option for me is this Tennessee Titan team. Even though on special teams, the last few weeks, they've had a few touchdowns. The only bright spot pretty much for this defense, and 1 pick 6 in the last month. So this week at Cleveland, this could be a low-scoring game. It wouldn't be surprising to me if it's like a 15-12 final or something, where it's down to field goals or something along those lines between these two teams, where these offenses really can't get anything going. And like I said, Shedeur Sanders, it's only his 3rd career start. So this week, Tennessee, a sleeper option. And the final defense, DST sleepers, the Miami Dolphins, available in tons of leagues as well in 74%. This week, a good matchup at the New York Jets that give up the 7th most fantasy points to defenses on the season. In the last couple of weeks, this defense has actually gone out there and looked decent, and they're holding teams in the mid-teens. The last 3 ball games is Miami. Week 10 versus Buffalo, 13 points allowed, 3 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries. Week 11 versus the Commanders, 13 points allowed, a sack, an interception, a fumble recovery. In Week 13 versus Saints, 17 points allowed, 4 sacks, an interception, and a fumble recovery. A 2-point conversion return in that one from Minka Fitzpatrick for 99 yards. So right now, this Miami defense, they're getting to the quarterback, they're creating turnovers, and this New York Jet team, their offense has definitely improved over the last few weeks. But still, I think Tyrod Taylor, he'll take a few sacks in this ball game. He could throw a pick or 2 in this game. And the weather, it's going to be cold. And now it's about if it's going to be rain, snow. We just don't know. Last week in that game in New York when the Falcons came, and it was a rainy, horrible conditions for the players. So this week, I think Miami and New York, we saw them verse early in the season, where that ball game, Dolphins defense played pretty decent. 21 points allowed, 2 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries. And it wouldn't be surprising if they put up numbers similar to that stat line early in the year. So that's a few defense DST units I have as sleepers for week 14 of the fantasy football season.